Hey you all, how you all doing? Pleasant Sunday evening. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Karen Vibes, reading for the mature audience. And we are back. We are back. We are back. Hope you all doing okay, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are, you all doing awesome. Awesome. Alright, so I'm not gonna do a lot of chatting before I start reading. I'm just gonna go straight into it. Straight into it. So the name of our book is Flowers in the Attic, and it's written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by me. So we had finished chapter 22, and we're now at chapter 23. Coming to a close, guys, coming to a close. So we're just gonna read on. So chapter 23. Normally I like to read back apart from where I left off. So I'm just gonna read a sentence here, the last sentence. Good night, Kathy, he said, using someone else's voice too. Alright, so we just head on over to chapter 23. Chapter 23, heading My Stepfather. That spring, Chris got sick. He looked greenish around his mouth and threw up every few minutes, staggering back from the bathroom to fall weakly on the bed. He wanted to study Gray's Anatomy, but threw it aside, irritated with himself. Must have been something I ate, he grouched. Chris, I don't want to leave you alone, I said at the door, preparing to fit the wooden key into the lock. Look here, Kathy. Look here, Kathy, he yelled. It's time you learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You don't need me at your side every live long minute of the day. I always love that phrase, Sometimes in life you have to just take the bull by the horn and you have to stand up on your own 2 feet and just do what you have to do. Even when there is fear in you and even when you think that you can't do it and you can't do this. You have to just tell yourself, I got this. So this is what Kathy needs to do. Just tell herself, she's got this. That was Mommy's trouble, she thought. Sorry, that was Mommy's trouble. She thought she'd always have a man to lean on. Lean on yourself, Kathy. Always. Terror jumped into my heart, flooded up in my eyes. He saw and he spoke more gently. I'm all right. Really. I can take care of myself. We need the money, Kathy. So go alone. We might not have another chance. I ran back to his bed, falling down on my knees and pressing my face down on his pyjamed head, on his pyjamed chest. Tenderly, he caressed my hair. Really, Kathy, I'll survive. It's not so bad. You have to cry about it. But you've got to understand, no matter what happens to either one of us, the one left has to get the twins out. Don't say things like that, I cried out. Just to think of him dying made me sick inside. And as I knelt there, staring at him, it fleetingly crossed my mind how often one or the other one of us was sick. Kathy, I want you to leave now. Stand up, force yourself, and when you get there, take only ones and fives, nothing larger. But take all the coins our stepfather lets fall from his pockets. And in the back of his closet, he keeps a big tin box full of change. Take a handful of the quarters. He looked pale and weak, thinner too. Quickly, I kissed Quickly I kissed his cheek. Quickly I kissed his cheek, loath to leave when he felt so unwell. Glancing at the sleeping twins, I backed off towards the door, clutching the wooden key in my hand. Folks, I'm so sorry. I really forgot that I should have turned the radio down. I didn't even realize. Sorry, folks. I hope you were able to hear the starting of this chapter, though. I didn't realize that didn't dawn on me that the radio would have been disturbing in the background. Anyway, my apologies. I backed off towards the door, clutching the wooden key in my hand. I love you, Christopher doll, I said in a joking way before opening the door. I love you too, Catherine doll, he said. Good hunting. I threw him a kiss, then closed and locked the door behind me. It was safe enough to go stealing in Mummy's room. Only this afternoon, she had told us she and her husband were attending another party at a friend's who lived down the road. And I thought to myself, as I stole quietly along the corridors, clinging to the walls, keeping to the shadows, I was going to take at least 120 and 110. I was going to risk somebody noticing. Maybe I'd even steal a few pieces of Mummy's jewelry. Jewelry could be pawned, but as good as money, maybe better. All business, all determination. I didn't waste time looking in the trophy room. Straight on to Mummy's bedroom I crept, not expecting to see the grandmother who retired very early at 9 and the hour was 10. What a thing, what people, folks, what a thing if she ever woke up the grandmother in the corridor. Oh my goodness. With all brave, determined confidence, I stole through the double doors to her rooms and silently closed them behind me. One dim light was burning. Often she left lights burning in her rooms, sometimes every last one, according to Chris, for what was money to our mother now? Hesitating uncertainly, I stood just inside the doors and looked around. Then I froze in terror. Oh my God, I wonder why she froze down. Folks, let's find out why she froze in terror. There in a chair with his long, listen folks, oh my God. There in a chair with his long legs stretched before him and crossed at the ankles, sprawled Mummy's new husband. Oh my God. I was directly in front of him, wearing a transparent blue nightie that was very short, though little matching panties were underneath. My heart beat out a mad tune of panic as I waited for him to bellow out and demand to know who I was. And what the hell was I doing coming uninvited into his bedroom? Oh my God. But he didn't speak. He wore a black tweed tuxedo and his formal shirt was pink with black edged ruffles down the front. He didn't bellow. He didn't question because he was dozing. I almost turned about and left. I was so terrified he'd awaken and see me. However, curiosity overcame my trepidations. On my toes, I stole closer to peer down at him. I dared to go so close up to his chair that I could reach out and touch him if I chose. close enough to put my hand in his pocket and rub it if I chose, which I didn't. Oh my goodness, no, this is what you call bravery. Robbery was the last thing I had in mind as I gazed down into his handsome, sleeping face. I was amazed to see what was revealed now that I was so very close to my mother's dearly beloved Bart. I had viewed him from a distance a number of times. First, the night of the Christmas party, and another time when he was down there near the stairs, holding a coat for Mommy to slip her arms in. He kissed the back of her neck and behind her ear and whispered something that made her smile so tenderly. He'd drawn her against his chest before they both went out the door. Yes, I had seen him and heard much about him, and knew where his sisters lived, and where he was born, and where he'd gone to school. But nothing had prepared me for what was so clearly revealed now. Mommy, how could you? How could you? So she's saying this to herself. She's saying this to herself. Mommy, how could you? How could you? You should be ashamed. This man is younger than you. Years younger. She hadn't told us that. A secret. How well she could keep such an important secret. And no wonder she adored him, worshipped him. He was the kind of man any woman would want. Just to look at him so casually, elegantly sprawled. I guess he was both tender and passionate when he made love to her. I wanted to hate that man dozing in the chair, but somehow I just couldn't. Even asleep, he appealed to me and made my heart beat faster. This is what Jamaican would have said, Tory come to bump. Bartholomew Winslow, smiling in his sleep, innocently, unknowingly, responding to my admiration. A lawyer, one of those men who knew everything, like doctors, like Chris. Certainly, he must be seen and experiencing something exceptionally pleasing. What was going on behind his eyeballs? I wondered too, if his eyes were blue or brown. His head was long and lean, his body slim and hard and muscular. A deep cleft was near his lips, looking like a stretched vertical dimple to play games of hide and seek, as it came and went with his vague, sleepy smiles. He wore a wide, sculptured gold wedding band, and of course I recognized it as a twin to the slimmer one my mother wore. On the index finger of his right hand, he wore a large, square-cut diamond ring that sparkled even without much light. On a small finger, he wore a fraternity ring. His long fingers had square nails, buffed so they shone as much as mine. I remembered when Mommy used to buff Daddy's nails while they played teasing games with their eyes. He was tall. I already knew that. And of everything, he had pleased me well. It was his full and sensual lips. Sorry, let me read this back again. He was tall. I already knew that. And of everything he had that pleased me well, it was his full and sensual lips, beneath the mustache, that intrigued me most. Such a beautifully shaped mouth, sensual lips that must kiss my mother everywhere. The book of sexual pleasures had educated me well along that line of how adults gave and took when they were bare. It came over me all of a sudden, the impulse to kiss him. But what is wrong with Kathy? People, what is wrong with Kathy? What is this girl thinking? Oh my goodness. Let's read on. It came over me all of a sudden, the impulse to kiss him, just to see if the dark mustache tickled, just to know also what a kiss was like from a stranger who was no blood relation at all. Boy, she brave. She is so, I don't know, she brave so. My God. Not forbidden, this one. Not sinful to tentatively reach out and very lightly stroke his closely shaven neck. And stroke his closely shaven cheek, so softly, challenging him to wake up. But he slept on. I leaned above him and pressed my lips down on his ever so lightly. Ever so lightly, then drew away fast, my heart pounding in a paralyzing kind of fear. I was almost wishing that he would wake, but I was still fearful and afraid. I was too young and unsure of what I had to believe he would come rushing to my defense when he had a woman like my mother madly in love with him. Would he, if I took his arm and shook him awake, sit and listen calmly to my story about 4 children sequestered in a lonely, isolated room year after year, waiting impatiently for their grandfather to die? Would he understand and sympathize with us? And would he force Mommy to set us free and give up hopes of inheriting that immense fortune? My hands fluttered nervously to my throat, the way mummies did. Sorry, my hands fluttered nervously to my throat, the way Mama did when she was caught up in a dilemma, not knowing which way to turn. My instinct was shouting loud, "Wake him up!" My suspicions whispered slyly, "Keep quiet. Don't let him know. He won't want you. Not 4 children. He didn't father. He'll hate you for preventing his wife from inheriting all the riches and pleasures that money can buy. Look at him, so young, so handsome, and though our mother was exceptionally beautiful and on the way to being one of the wealthiest women in the world, he could have somebody younger, a fresh virgin who'd never loved anyone else nor slept with another man." And then my indecision was over. The answer was so simple. What were 4 unwanted children when compared to unbelievable riches? They were nothing. Already, Mommy had taught me that, and a virgin would bore him. Oh, it was unfair. Fool. Oh, it was unfair. Foul. Our mother had everything. Freedom to come and go as she wished. Freedom to spend lavishly and buy out the world's best stores, if she chose. She even had the money to buy a much younger man to love and sleep with. And what did Chris and I have but broken dreams, shattered promises, and unending frustrations? And what did the twins have? But a dollhouse and a mouse and ever declining health. Oh, folks, story is getting so interesting as we wind down, but when we come back, we'll read on and see what happens and see if that Bart in the room wakes up, guys. Gosh, she's so brave. She is so brave. Anyway, folks, we're going to pause there and we'll be back in short order. And thank you, folks, as usual, for listening. I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate you all looking out. Always look out for your comments. Hail up to Carol K, who is always commenting. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you and I appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you so much. Alright, so we'll be back. Enjoy the Monday week coming. I know a lot of persons see Monday as the first day. Well, technically it's not, but a lot of persons see Monday as the beginning of the week. So whatever you do, just have fun and care for others, care for yourself, and just be careful out there, because the world has just become such a scary place these days that you have to just be so. Although they will say you can't be too careful, but try and be careful. Try and be careful. All right, folks, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find me on YouTube, Karen Vibes, which is KrenVibes, and that's comes with an exclamation sign at the end. And you can always catch up on my stories that I've read before and that I'm reading now. So, all right, so looking out for your comment, folks. So you all enjoy the week ahead, and we'll be back in short order. All right, folks, peace out. Take care of yourselves.